Hey, ScreenJunkies, welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, aka three guys talking about it. That's right, the scary clown movie. We made an honest trailer about it, and now you're going to find out our behind-the-scenes thoughts. If you stick around to the end, we have some cut jokes, which weren't good enough to make it into the actual video.
Welcome to this.
Welcome to this one, though. I'm Spencer J. Gilbert, joined by Joe Starr.
Hello.
By Dan Murrell.
Hello.
And we saw it.
We did.
We liked it.
We liked it a lot.
And the fans chose it for us to honestly rip it to shreds.
To be fair, we probably would have done this. It was very lucky that it came out during this fan choice window because we would have done it. Obviously,
we probably would have.
We would have done it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we were able to put it up to a vote and just put that extra bullet point. And the fans wanted it too,
Really
which
wanted
is
to
awesome.
see this one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie.
It's pretty good.
Especially after Dark Tower, this really warmed my heart.
Yeah.
Because Stephen King adaptations are either pretty good or they're over here.
Yeah.
And then Thinner is right in the middle.
Yeah, I did enjoy this. How much do you think this could have even possibly been cognizant of Stranger Things? Did this have enough time to copy Stranger Things? Because it felt like R-rated Stranger Things plus a spooky clown.
I don't think. I mean, it was being developed before Stranger
Right.
Things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in development hell for forever.
Eyebrows kid from the Maze Runner, who we were just talking about. Will Poulter was originally going to be. He's a good enough actor now. I'll call him by his name. Will Poulter.
Always be Eyebrows kid.
Was going to be Pennywise, and then he left. And then,
Really?
Yeah, he was going to be Pennywise. Huh. So yeah, this has been a turnaround forever. I don't know. I think it's just general nostalgia. I think it's this the moment that we're in right now. I don't know how much it could have copied from Stranger
but it really
Things.
caught that wave of,
Stranger Things was copying it. So this really didn't rip off anything that Stranger Things hadn't already taken from this movie.
Yeah.
or book or whatever.
So yeah, I mean, but the reason Stranger Things is good is nostalgia is a big part of it, but it's only a part of it because this also was a just solid horror movie. It looked really good. The director, I don't know what else he's done, but he's one to watch.
Yeah, no, he's genuinely creepy.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about this is I hate jump scares, but I generally like horror movies because if they're well done, if they're well crafted, and I like that this movie was genuinely just creepy.
Yeah.
Just just very well constructed, not, I mean, it had a few of the other things too that a regular horror movie has to have, but it's just well designed and constructed.
They hit Derry really well. I mean, Derry's practically one of the characters, you guys. But even in the old TV miniseries, I feel like in the beginning, maybe it's just because of the 50s sheen of the original's first half. Aside from his brother getting murdered, you don't really get the feeling that Derry is this weird, screwed up, cursed place.
Yeah.
Every now and then someone will tell you that, but the movie doesn't really show you that well. I thought this movie did a really good job of Derry being this kind of just bleh.
Yeah.
Movie
Just
did do a
creeps.
pretty good job.
Town full of creeps.
Yes.
Creepy
Which it
ass
was
town.
in the book.
Creep
Was
town.
everyone was completely oblivious to everything and just didn't even know what was going on, and yeah, they didn't. This did so much better, I think, than the TV series did. Which I watched the TV series because a little behind the scenes action. We were gonna do an honest trailer on it, and I went home and watched all 3 hours of it, and came into the office the next day, and everyone was like, "Nope, we're doing
switched.
something else." It's
Never
fresh on my mind.
work ahead of time. Never do any more work than you have to
I think
at
I was
any moment in time, Dan.
halfway through a first draft, and I was like, "This might be the best work I've done here."
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, the TV series first of all had the whole thing to do
whole book, yeah.
in 3 hours, which this movie is half of it, and I maintain this is the more interesting half.
Yes.
I will be very curious to see what I assume it's going to be called It Chapter 2 is going to be, because this is the better. I've read the book, I've seen now this. I think this is the more interesting half of the story, so I'll be very intrigued to see where.
But they've already departed as far as what characters are important and
True.
A lot of the mythology, so they have license to kind of make it their own.
I hope they do.
Well, I'm interested because we hit it in the trailer a lot, but the sort of nostalgia wave that it rides. I'm curious if Chapter 2 can now sort of see what that nostalgia ride means for these adults. You know, we've seen our nostalgia through their lens, of the 80s and early 90s, and now you can kind of see I don't know, like the Arrested Development they'd now gone through because of Pennywise.
But I hope they just make the decision to not flash forward that far ahead, so we're in like 2003 and everyone's in Heelys and listening to Prodigy.
I'm completely fine with that.
I'm ready for that wave of nostalgia.
I also want it to be the exact same cast as the second half of the original miniseries. I want it to
just
be
in old Harry Potter makeup.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a few.
I mean, as
instances
many
where
of
that
them as we
can't happen,
can.
right? Yeah. John
right,
Ritter.
for the
is,
original. You mean the original?
Yeah, the original. I know
Harry
we can't
Anderson.
have Ritter, but I want Harry Anderson and
Ned
just all of-
O'Toole.
yeah.
Get them all back.
In Jinko jeans. All right, let's watch the honest trailer for It.
We asked you to vote for the 2017 movies you wanted us to make an honest trailer for. Now, your number 3 choice floats to... From the twisted mind of Stephen King, master of horror, suspense, and really inconsistent movie adaptations.
What is that one?
People really should learn to keep their hands to themselves.
Comes the scary
love that
clown
cut.
movie that was so scary it killed the actual clown industry? Thank you, movie. Thank you so much. It. Life in Derry, Maine has its ups and clowns.
Thank
because
you, thank you,
Pennywise is lurking in the gutter. And this piece of it will eat you alive. Unless he just feeds on people's fear.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
Or maybe he eats you alive and feeds on your fear.
Feast on your flesh as I feed on your fear.
Or maybe he'll just scare you real bad and leave you alone. It's kinda muddled. Rule of thumb, main characters get spooked, everyone else is clown food.
Pause. Now, Dan, you read the
Yes.
book. Is there any insight? What's the deal? Does he eat fear? Does he eat people?
The book is very bizarre. It's very long. It took
Yeah.
me like 5 months to listen because I listened to the audiobook. It took me like
Ooh.
5 months to listen to the whole thing. He's very ancient, and he
Came here in a meteor.
He did. He came in. He crash landed on Earth, and there's we referenced the turtle later
Yeah.
on. There's rituals involved. He's kind of just this force, and it's a bit muddy as well. He kind of is. Fear is what kind of attracts him. Like it's kind of his power, but he also has to feed on people. And what I liked about it was that, and the movie doesn't really go into this, and the book where it does go into is he's more of like this force for evil. Like he kind of just feeds on evil because there's these whole side things in the book where every 27 years in Derry, there's been some huge calamity, like a factory explosion, a bar burning down or being set on fire, this gang being shot up on Main Street. Excuse me. There's always this calamity, and it's intimated that he exerts his influence over people, kind of like what we see him do with Henry Bowers in this movie. That he kind of causes these huge evil things where a bunch of people get killed, and that like feeds him. So he kind of just feeds on like negative energy and also people.
All right, so he's like a YouTube prankster.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is Logan Paul.
it's just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro.
You'll prank too. You'll
Just a prank.
Yes.
Great.
And much like YouTube pranksters, if you stop paying attention to them, they go away. Like Pennywise.
God bless him. All right, let's keep watching.
Journey to the idyllic child murder capital of America.
People die or disappear 6 times the national average.
And meet a losers club full of Goonies and Lost Boys. Kids who'd beat One Direction fans in a screaming contest.
Great screamers.
There's the leader, the sick one, the bookworm, the kid from Stranger Things, in glasses, the girl one, and also the other two, whose character development got cut for time. Mike doesn't say a word for 45 minutes of screen time. Do you really want to turn one of the book's main characters into the Winston of the movie? Really? Okay, movie, you're the movie.
Pause.
The original does not do much better. Like the two in this one were like the other two. They're the same in the miniseries.
So he's just the bar mitzvah boy who's afraid of flute woman.
Flute woman.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing, Mike particularly though, confused me because his role in the book is as the historian.
Yeah, he's the
He's the guy that is there and knows the history of the town.
But they gave that to the new kid. So
Right,
then who's
so
the new kid in the book?
Right, that's the thing that's what kind of surprised me a little bit, is that Mike kind of had a role, and then they took that role away from him and kind of gave it to Ben.
Yeah.
But at watching it, I really didn't see how it was more useful for Ben to do it than it would have been for Mike to do it, unless they've got some big things planned for really changing things up in the second one, and maybe they do. But that was curious to me, just watching it as a fan of the original, was the idea of kind of taking this business away from Mike, and he literally disappears for like 45 minutes of the movie. Like, he's gone.
Yeah.
And giving it to Ben, I'm anxious to see how they pay that off, because it struck me as a little odd that they would take that bit of business and give it to another character.
Yeah, I don't think I really would have noticed anything, but I haven't read the book.
Yeah.
So that is his absence is pretty conspicuous if he's the one that brings them all back together or whatever.
Generally, that's the source material as written is Mike is kind of the guy that anchors back and is kind of the one that calls them back.
In the miniseries, it's a little more glaring because the way they frame the miniseries is you see everyone as adults and then they keep flashing back, but he's the one sort of gathering them and letting them know.
Yeah.
But then in the flashbacks, he's just absent. So it's a
weird,
little more glaring in the miniseries. But yeah, that's a weird choice.
It's a strange choice, but we'll see what they do in the second movie. I don't know.
All right, let's keep watching.
Really? Okay, movie, you're the movie.
It's our new favorite phrase.
Thrill as each child's fear preys on them in a unique form. Just try not to notice
can't
that it preys on
unsee
them in
this.
the
Thank you,
exact same
Spencer.
way, where
So
the kid
much
will go off on their own.
The slow walk.
Notice something out of the ordinary.
You look like a nice boy.
And slowly walk towards it.
So we originally edited this in a grid and ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Hello?
Until a monster pops out. You know, you can just say nope and walk the other way, right?
I mean, that's a
Problem
classic
solved.
horror movie.
The wave
pause.
of nostalgia.
Pause.
Yeah, that's the classic trope.
Just leave.
Just
But
leave.
then
but
the movie ends.
There'd be no movie. But yeah, I can't, now that you've said that, I can't unsee.
There's a definite pattern
pattern.
of the what's that? I'm gonna walk towards it, and it even gets scarier, and they're still like, no, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna-
I think it's a nod though to how well put together the movie is, because I've been in horror movies where that happens, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But the way
Yeah.
that they structured this one, I didn't even notice that they were doing that until a-holes like us pointed out.
But it's also kind of training your audience in a way, sort of for like a Pavlov response, where it's like once somewhere in your subconscious you're like, oh no, they saw the weird thing and they're still walking, and that's in the theater.
It's
That's
to
when
build
you're supposed
tension.
to kind of start going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boring editor's note here, just kind of behind the scenes on how we structure these things. We originally, the first cut, those are all on a grid. So John said basically he talked, and then you just saw like 8 different pictures all at once, which is how we do sometimes. It's the question of, is it funnier if we show them all at once, like Baby Thor's Flying Roars, which is a great Joe Starr idea to put them all in one grid, or is it more
String 'em out.
effective to string them out? And I think we all saw the first cut and said it's more effective if we string those out so that you hit that point.
Yeah,
of the
because the
repetition a little
joke
bit
is the
better.
repetition.
Right.
Of that.
Kevin and TJ nailed that too. Like it works really well.
No, yeah,
The unsung heroes.
They are.
Monster
They really are. Just the little things like Georgie jumping back, going when he says the Pennywise is in the sewer. Like these little beats that we don't tell them to put in there, but they just put in there. They're great.
They good.
Good job, editors.
You're not watching, but good job.
Good job.
Get
They're
back to
busy
work
working
if
on
you
the
are.
next one.
And good job, UJT. Press play.
Ride the wave of nostalgia that's still sweeping Hollywood and get your required dose of 80s pop culture, like New Kids on the Block, Mullets, that terrible Street Fighter game.
Oh, Street Fighter
that
1,
time
so
in
bad.
school
You
where
can
girls
only
have
be
started
Ryu.
puberty, but boys are still years off,
We're in the same class.
not knowing how AIDS works.
My mom mom's friend in New York City got it just by touching a dirty pole in the subway.
It's a depressing piece of 80s nostalgia.
And of course, the kid from Stranger Things, which makes you nostalgic for Stranger Things, which makes you nostalgic for the 80s, which makes you nostalgic for Stephen King's It. And the circle is complete. Feast on this enjoyable movie adaptation of a popular TV adaptation of a creepy book that managed to out-creep Tim Curry, and wisely punted the boring adult stuff that no one remembers to the sequel, plus made some radical departures from the original book, ditching the 50s era, that preteen gangbang scene, and the appearance of Maturin, the god turtle, who teaches Billy how to perform the magic ritual of Chud. You guys made that one up. No?
Nope, Stephen King's really weird.
That's in there? Wow. Makes sense to cut it, but at the same time, I kind of want to see that.
Pause.
Pause.
The book. We should talk about the book, having just recently finished it. It's weird.
Yeah.
And Stephen King is a little weird. Beyond the turtle stuff and the chewed, but you have to bite each other's tongues and tell jokes, and it's pretty nuts. But there is the tunnel scene.
Yep.
Where they all take turns with Beverly, which is just really strange. And even throughout the rest of the book, he is often very focused on the happenings of different people's genitalia, what level of attention they're giving certain situations. It's very strange. It's odd. It's a weird thing to return to again and again. I'm just gonna say it's a little off-putting.
Okay. Apparently, there is a draft of the script that includes it. A writer got pulled from it. I think it's Carrie Fukunaga, the True Detective guy.
Yeah.
Whoever that is, did a draft that he was like, "I'm walking if we don't like do this hard R disturbing version of it," and he is no longer with the project.
Yeah, that was a good decision.
Yeah.
Not too necessary.
That is it's a weird scene. It's the whole idea of it is that they were united in their quest to kill Pennywise, but then they can't get out. They're lost, and Beverly's like, "How are we going to all become united behind something again?" And she's like, "I know.
Run train.
Everyone has to have sex with me." And then it's weird. There's no reason for it to be in any of the adaptations, and really,
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Stephen King. What the fuck? Sorry for the F-bomb, but it's just weird. It's just super weird.
Even the chewed turtle, enormous girth. All that stuff makes me even sadder that Dark Tower was just awful, because like the second half of the Dark Tower series is King at his most off the rails. So like all that weird stuff in his like standalone books where you're like, why is there a turtle god in your clown book? All that stuff just starts to just collapse in on this Jenga tower of Stephen King weirdness, and I would have loved to have seen all of that on the big screen.
That sounds good. So how many boring books do I have to get through before that part happens?
4 good ones, and then they're not boring, they're good. And then I won't even call the second half bad to not anger Dark Tower fans, but I will say that they're like ridiculous.
Cool.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm into it. Speaking of it, let's keep going.
So enjoy a horrifying trip down memory lane that cements clowns as the scariest childhood thing since dolls and puppets, making boatloads of cash for everyone involved,
they're innocent.
and guarantees that somebody somewhere just greenlit a Maximum Overdrive remake.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for another Stephen King-assance, you guys. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Thinner. I curse you thinner.
It's like a blood
Starring
tie.
Dorky Pig. Way more important in Chapter 2. Kyle Broflovsky. Why write a joke when your real name is Finn Wolfhard?
Finn Wolfhard.
OG Chunk. Young Sheldon. Justice for Bev. But Doctor, I am Pagliacci.
Job spending.
I tickled
And
myself
the
with that one.
insane clown posse. Stephen King's. Batman came out on June 23rd, and Lethal Weapon 2 came out on July 7th, so Derry either gets movies really early, school gets out really late, or they wanted to give us one more hit of that sweet, sweet nostalgia.
People ask what's it like to write honest trailers. The answer is you're watching it, and things like that pop into your head.
Yep.
You're watching the movie, admittedly, I think second time, and you see those marquees, and you go like, I'm looking up those release dates.
Wait a minute.
I didn't notice that the first time. Dan, that was your catch. And this when the movie's good, you have to resort to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Batman, but really, it's like you're already pushing it with Batman, and you're like Lethal Weapon 2 also. It's like, come on, we don't need. Did Lethal Weapon 2, was that the reference that made or break the movie?
Right.
That they were also.
How
playing
hard
Lethal
is it to
Weapon
just
2?
do Batman or to pick a
movie that was
actually
out? around
Lethal
that
Weapon
time?
2, solid.
Well, solid, but we just are trying to
timing
maintain the
didn't work.
time-space continuum.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
That's
Exactly. It's it's a little bit of excessive nostalgia, I believe.
Yeah.
They over nostalgia.
Over nostalgia. I did look up, however,
there.
the Nightmare on Elm Street 5 release date did line up with where the story was at that point. So
Oh.
good job there.
All right, script supervisor, whoever does that. Or
I'm sure somebody did
Yeah.
a hand wave and just like, whatever, no one will notice.
Dan noticed.
Dan
Sorry.
noticed.
Now the world. All right, let's see some deleted scenes.
Get ready for a film that blends horror, comedy, and nostalgia in a tidy little package that sold way more tickets than anyone expected, because the marketing was scarier than the movie itself.
Pause. Yeah, so this was just, it doesn't play too well because that's like a VR experience and just like rhythmically it kind of takes too long. But man, the marketing campaign was good for this movie.
Yes. So
What, at Comic-Con when they had those little
creepy.
old people or
I was
children
gonna-
holding the balloon.
I was gonna bring them up because at first, like, you were like, oh man, they're creepy, but then at night when 400,000 people were trying to all use the same like path to get back to their hotel rooms, and they're all tired and mad, and there's this like raincoat person like gumming up the works, and you're just like, I hate you, I'll never see your movie. I'm so tired.
Okay. All right. I didn't have a traffic jam situation with
Yeah.
them. I would just see them like kind of by themselves.
Yeah.
It's like
Just
out of the
like
corner of
sitting
your
there,
eye.
Yeah.
They would stand there alone, like that. I don't know if you've ever been to Comic-Con. There's the sky bridge that
Yeah.
crosses kind
Yes.
of the major thing if you're on one end of the convention center, and they would just stand there, even if it wasn't crowded, with these balloons for hours,
was a
and they
good
never
Craigslist
looked up.
gig.
They never saw their face.
They didn't react. They were
They
like
didn't react.
royal guards or whatever with the hats. Yeah,
it was creepy.
Good marketing.
Good job. Great. Well, very
Nailed
well
it.
marketed.
Really nailed it. Really
Yeah.
nailed it.
That one of that big house that you saw there was down the street from my old apartment.
Oh.
So I'd walk by the It house every day.
Ooh.
It's one of those things that was like great marketing, but like they announced it and it was sold out within 3 hours. So it was
Oh,
literally
yeah.
like 6 weeks of walking past Disneyland that you can't go in because it's
Aw.
already sold out. It's like, well, that's cool, but whatever.
Let's keep watching.
Gary Clown! Okay, I'll see it! I'll see it! Don't hurt me!
Watch all of the puberty happen when Beverly joins the gang. She's got no fear, a badass
some fear.
haircut, and fights a monster way more frightening than Bill Skarsgård in a lace frock.
Are you still my girl?
Me personally, I'd rather live with Pennywise the Dancing Clown
personally.
than Alvin Marsh the molesting dad. Ugh.
Very cool.
That's
Starring
part of in the book. That's that part of the story is part of Pennywise exerting his. Basically, what he does in the later part of the book with the kids is he realizes that he can't get them, so he starts influencing the people and the adults in their lives to like try to kill them for him, which is even scarier, I think, than like I said, the clown. But
Yeah.
like in the book, it's Beverly's dad is somebody who he kind of they kind of describe it as like a fog comes over them and he starts going after him.
Well, we'll see if that holds up in court.
We'll see.
It wasn't me.
It was
the
it
evil
was the
clown
evil clown.
exerting his influence on me. Yeah.
If only Your Honor, this man clearly knows the ritual of chewed.
I'm just a caveman. I hear a man's been taken over by a clown, and on television it confuses me. But I do know one thing.
The ritual of chewed. All right, let's keep watching.
Today, Super Meat Boy.
Video
Little
game
Big
reference.
Ben. Not a girl, not yet a woman.
Britney Spears reference.
Hal Rudnick.
ScreenJunkies
Rohan.
reference.
Pound
Pennywise
Foolish.
reference.
Can't sleep, clown will eat me.
Simpsons reference.
Pennywise dances to anything.
It's the
Meme.
meme.
Killer clown from outer space.
True. It's from a meteor.
He is.
Yeah, that's it.
That
That's
was
it.
okay.
So yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Guys, that's it.
Hey.
What more is there to say? We'll be back for chapter 2. That's for
Yep.
sure.
I'm fascinated
excited.
if they stick the landing on it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Or
We'll
is
all go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Are there other Stephen King projects you'd like to see them take another crack at?
No.
Nope.
I'm good. I like the old crappy Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
They're fine just the way they are. Just make them 4K, release them in a giant box set, and I will watch it.
Deal. Okay, cool.
I still think there's a great book accurate version of The Shining to be told.
Okay.
But is it worth the effort? Probably.
Probably not.
Because it won't be Kubrick, so it won't be as good,
Exactly.
and people will be like, why did we do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, that's it for us today. Tune in next week when we cover your next selection, which, how can I tease this? What's a good way to tease this?
I'm just waiting.
I'm not doing a bit. I'm asking.
Oh, is this the one with the inventor?
No.
No.
That's the other one.
No, this is, let's see.
Oh, this is the other one.
Yeah.
Are we going to stay in this video until you figure out what the next movie is?
No, we're going to get out soon.
Okay. Let's not stay in this any longer.
We're going to get out.
You're right. We should get out. We should get out now, and we'll see you next week. Perfect. Bye, guys.
Nailed it.